right, we are live, and I'm joined by my friend Flying Rich here, and we're going to be talking about what is going on with the DOJ because as I was waiting for breaking news to break, we kind of didn't wait long enough because shortly after uh, we left, the DOJ filed their second lawsuit of the day. If you remember, I said California, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Virginia were all in the crosshairs. Um, and now we have the second one of the lawsuits, and this is challenging California's not only their Glock ban, because if you don't know, as of today, California has banned Glock pistols, the most popular handgun in the United States. They banned today because they have cruciform triggers, and it's just not a Glock ban. I know a lot of people call it a Glock ban, but it also deals with shadow systems, anything with a cruciform trigger, basically.
Say a Glock style or Glock pattern.
Yeah, Glock style. So the DOJ is suing California over that, but wait, there's more, as Billy Mays would say. Is that his name? Billy Mays?
Sounds right.
R.I.P. He like overdosed or something like that. I don't know. But they are also suing California over their unconstitutional roster, handgun roster. You don't know, which I'm sure most of you do. In California, you can only buy certain guns, certain handguns, and they have to be on.
Unless a cop sells it to you.
Billy Mays. Yeah. Unless a cop sells it to you. That's correct. There is something about that which is kind of funny. But so the DOJ is suing California over their unconstitutional ban on Glocks and their registry. Since we did a breakdown before of everything that was going on, we're not going to read through it. I'm just going to give you the cliff notes. That's okay with you guys.
For sure.
So they are stating that let's go into case law really quick. Let's jump back to Heller. Heller said that you cannot ban firearms that are in common use. I would say that Glocks are in common use. Now, a lot of the anti-gunners try to say for self-defense, and Wolford kind of put a kibosh on that. But even if they use that, Glocks are undoubtedly in use for self-defense. So that kind of proves them right there. So we got Heller, right? That says you can't ban something. What California is going to try to say is that they're dangerous or unusual instead of an unusual, because I think that's the only way they can do it. But I think they're going to fail. So the second case that involves the roster and the Glock ban is Bruin. Bruin is a two-step test. They got rid of intermediate scrutiny and everything else like that.
So tell the people what intermediate scrutiny is.
All right. First, where did they get this self-defense requirement? They made it up when to narrow to be able to say AR-15s are in common use. That's where they got it from. Okay. Intermediate scrutiny means you can weigh the rights of the people against the needs of the state. So basically, the wants of the state, not needs, wants of the states. So basically, they say, well, there's all these shootings, so therefore we are able to ban it, blah, blah, blah. We don't have to obey that pesky little document called the Constitution.
So, in other words, this is kind of a guideline, a suggestion. It's, shall not be infringed, doesn't really mean that.
In Bruin, it made it clear, no, you have to go by text, tradition, and history. The text of the Constitution, the right of the people shall not be infringed. the right of the bear, the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. And Wolford, they clarified, which I don't think they really needed to, but a lot of anti-gun states were saying, okay, well, we are going to say that right to bear arms doesn't include AR-15. But what Wilford said is the arm bearable? If yes, look at are the people affected are the people affected members of the people, which means the political class? If yes, proceed to step 2. Now, if you wanna say AR-15s, Glocks, or whatnot are not protected by the plain text of the Second Amendment, it's up to the state. The burden falls to the state to prove it through historical analogs that the ban is in line with the tradition and history of firearms regulations from the founding era. Um, so once they look at that, the state has to do analog. And it doesn't have to be a dead ringer, but it has to be remotely similar. And there is a how and why component to that as well. But California doesn't really have that with the Glock ban or the roster. So I think that they're gonna fail on that level.
Well, also, Wolford just says, is it good for
Yep.
offensive or defensive purposes? Which
Yep.
that just hammers the nail into the coffin.
Yeah. Right here, Law Girls says the last step of Bruin is only what the conduct that is being legislative. Is it an arm? Are they the people? Exactly. That's what I was just saying.
Right on. Somebody
this-
knows their constitution.
So, Amy Coney Barrett actually said something pretty good and basically said that in the Wolford case.
Cool. So I
So
don't have to hate on her that much.
yeah, you can hate on it as much as you want. I'm not going to tell you either way. So, that is what's going on. I believe that there is going to be another couple lawsuits. I don't know if they're going to come out today, but I would say shortly.
And in case this has been bothering you, there is not a chance I'm going to get it built before July 4th.
So right now, we have 2 lawsuits filed by the DOJ today. The first one is in Virginia. I did another video on that one. And the second one is in California against the Glock ban and also Roster. The arguments in both cases are similar by the plaintiff, which is the DOJ, which says there's no historical analogs to justify the bans. The conduct is covered by the plain text of the Second Amendment, and also that California and Virginia are overstepping their power by banning things, and their bans are unconstitutional. We got to remember, though, this is in the Ninth Circuit, and the Ninth Circuit is really anti-gun.
So the federal government is suing California in the Ninth Circuit.
Well, yeah, that's why they have to sue them. California is covered under the Ninth Circuit. Well, it's at a district court level right now, but it's covered under the Ninth Circuit.
And again, Law Girl is right on target here. How does any honest lawyer read Bruin and see the plain text step as a historical debate?
Well, you have a word there. Honest.
And none of this, It is absolutely amazing to me that anybody reads the Second Amendment as having the ability, like, to interest balance. You're talking about a bunch of farmers that fought off the most dangerous superpower in the world of the time. You don't think when they form their own government they're going to protect their right to keep and bear arms?
One of the things that I find interesting is this argument that, you know, let's go back to before Heller when they were trying to argue that the Second Amendment is a collective right. I thought that was really dishonest when they argued that because as quoting from one of my lawyers, David Brown, that's like the Navy getting in a constitutional right that they have a right to boats. Doesn't make any sense.
Right. Well, it says the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, which it doesn't say the right of the collective. It says the people. And I gotta say, so law girl here, I'm gonna keep clicking on her comments. If I was a black person, a black female, I would be black female lawyer. Let me say it that way. I would be highly disappointed that Ketanji Brown Jackson would be considered or should be considered the best, smartest, and brightest out there.
Well, she's not. She's not. I mean, there's tons of black female lawyers that are incredibly.
That's what I'm saying. What a disservice.
And judges that are incredibly talented and smart.
Yes. What a disservice. And you know what? Even if she was a crazy liberal, but like brilliant, I'd be like, all right, they got somebody on their side, but they're crazy smart.
Yeah, it's just crazy, right?
I can't imagine Clarence Thomas. He's got to be doing the Picard facepalm every day he goes into work.
I think all of them are. I think 8 of 9 justices do that. So we're gonna see where this goes, but this is a good move. So let's go ahead and see what happens here.
Alrighty, Crumpy. So do you, in your Magic 8 Ball, do you see other lawsuits dropping today in other states?
I see 2 more lawsuits. I'm not sure if they're gonna drop today or not. I would not be surprised if we get at least 1 more today.
Cool.
Maybe 2 more today. And like I already said, Rhode Island, Connecticut.
Cool beans.
So we're gonna have to see. Maybe there's more that I just haven't heard about. The possibility.
I could name a few more.
Maryland has a Glock ban too.
Maryland, Delaware, New York, Massachusetts.
Yeah, but I'm just saying ones that I've heard mentioned. And
it sounds like Army Dillon needs a team of people to help her with that.
Yeah. One of the things, Rich, is that I don't say everything that I get, right? And Rich needs to shut up about things sometimes. That's why I don't tell Rich everything, but I do tell him some things. And you knew about these lawsuits dropping. So there you go. You were in the know. We're going to get out of here.
So don't forget to watch 9 o'clock tonight, Ticks and Bangs.
Ticks and Bangs, yep. Be doing jujitsu until 8, then taking a shower and jumping on Ticks and Bangs. And with that, we're out of here. Thank you so much for watching. And my name is John Krupp, and we're out of here. Bye-bye. And Rich, don't